Hey, and welcome to a spoiler review for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Um, I'm not alone here. Over here we've got Stevens. How's it going?
It's going good. I wonder, am I the only one who wants to say the title wrong? whenever I whenever I try to say the title, I always want to say Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, when the title, of course, is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
I'm not gonna lie, I did put and we don't put the title of this. But also we've got David. David, how's it going?
Hey, yeah, I'm doing good. It's my first time doing one of these discussions ever, so I'm looking forward to it. I I watched Doctor Strange on opening night on Friday, well, the second opening night. And then I'm just looking forward to express my thoughts about it. Yeah, in the Multiverse of Madness, that's just something I got to remember for trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, can't wait to talk the shit with you guys.
um, but yeah, um, but but this is a spoiler review. We are going to get into spoilers very quickly, but before we go there, Stephen, what are your quick spoiler-free thoughts on the movie? We'll start off with the spoiler-free stuff first.
Uh, Honestly, I think this is actually one of my least favorite of the MCU movies. Um, I was very disappointed overall. I think there's some cool visuals. I think the story itself is great, but I think it's poorly executed overall.
Um, but David, what are your quick spoiler-free thoughts on the movie?
I'll say I enjoyed the movie, but it is a kind of like a middle tier MCU movie. I am a big Sam Raimi fan, so as a Sam Raimi fan, there was a lot to enjoy about it. But just narrative, like story wise, there's a lot of things that just didn't hit right with me, and then there's some issues I have with a certain main character of the movie, the conclusion of that character, and like kind of like the motivations wasn't really explained that well to me. So yeah, that was my thought.
Um, yeah, for me, like this is actually like I really enjoyed this movie. Look, this is one of those ones that is definitely very divided amongst people. Definitely a big discussion on Twitter, especially over a certain thing we're going to get into very quickly. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I thought this was really good, and it's really good to because I think this phase, because it isn't a so much an overarching thing that they have to do to get to an Avengers movie. I think because of that they're allowing the directors to go more plan their sandbox, but do it more their style for a bit because they don't need to have a Thanos appear. They don't need to have something that connect needs to connect to a movie later on and all that. They can kind of do something relatively standalone ish. Obviously, there's still some stuff they had to hit, and I think that's what Kevin Feige is doing. Like he's going, you need to hit this, this, and this, but everything else, like we'll just leave you alone and do what you want. But with that being said, because there really isn't a lot we can talk about this without going to spoilers. So,
Spoilers.
um, but yeah, so don't know. I should have planned this out, but we'll start
Sure.
off by we'll
From the
start
beginning.
off by yeah. So we'll start off by talking about Wanda. So Stephen, what are your thoughts on sort of Wanda's art in this movie?
The problem I have with Wanda is there's no build up to her becoming bad. She's just bad right from the get go. And I mean, I thought, well, at the end of WandaVision, we do see her reading from the book in the post-credit scene, but she's still, I mean, in that show, she still seemed like a good guy. And then, but so her transition from good to bad occurs obviously in between the show and the movie. So we don't see that transition. So it just, because of that, it just feels, like there's no setup, there's no build up. She's just bad right from the beginning. What is a shame. I think Elizabeth Olsen is really good in this movie, and I actually liked seeing her as an actress playing bad. So there were some scenes that she saved that, but then in the second half, especially when you get into the stuff with the Illuminati, she becomes so cartoonishly evil that I know that she's being corrupted by the, I don't remember what the name of the book is.
Darkhold.
Yeah, but it still just feels so off watching that, and that's why maybe if there was some build up to it, it wouldn't feel as off. Also, with the exception of a couple of scenes, I don't think the movie does a great job of showing you the pain that is going through her, when trying to, locate her imaginary kids. I just wish they had she just needed to be more developed.
David, what are your thoughts on Monge's art?
I mean, a lot of the points, I mean, Steven said, it was that I agree with. It was just felt weird because watching WandaVision, like you see her journey from, trying to control this whole town, trying to like have, raise family and, with Vision and stuff. And then in the end, kind of like realize what she's done and try to make amends for it, trying to, go off and do something. But between that and this movie, it's like, what happened? It's like all of a sudden now you're evil and you're trying to do this. I mean, people are explaining to me like, oh, because the Darkhold like got her and then like kind of influenced her to turn all evil and stuff. But it's like we never saw a scene where she was fighting that, at least, or like just that, like battling those emotions into becoming this evil. It just became evil. So that was kind of weird. It was also very weird that she only mentioned Vision like once in the movie. Like what happened? Like all of a sudden you love Vision, and now okay, you're going after your fake children throughout the whole movie. But I mean, if you think about it, she can go after Vision in other multiverses too. So I don't know why that wasn't brought up at all. But
maybe they couldn't bring Paul Bettany. They couldn't get Paul Bettany back.
I mean, maybe, but a different story then. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, her performance was amazing though. Like when you just look at how evil she got in all those scenes that she was evil and stuff, that was great. It's just the motivation behind it was just off. It could have helped with an extra scene in the beginning just to see her before she turned, like before she read the Darkhold or stuff like that. And the conclusion of her, I just didn't hit me that great. Like, oh, she just suddenly realized that she is a monster because now she faces the kids. I just didn't like the conclusion of that too. But yeah, that's my overall thoughts. But she was Elizabeth Olsen was great in the role. I'll say that.
Yeah. Look, for me, I actually think the opposite. Like, I liked her arc in this. Like, this is one of those ones. I've talked to many people online about this, but it's one of those ones. They say in the movie the Darkhold corrupts entirely. And well, yeah, like I do agree that maybe they should have had an extra scene at the start, sort of showing that more clearly. Because it's one of those ones because, like, at the end of WandaVision, you do see her start to use the Darkhold, and I think it's one of those ones like, well, throughout the whole of WandaVision, like she's dealing with her grief and all that, and like at the end, like it's the acceptance and everything, which is why she releases the town. But it's one of those ones like the way I see it, the Darkhold takes your desires and sort of what you're using it for, and then amplifies it to 11. And so, and I think that's kind of where my thoughts are on this, because the Darkhold just takes what you want and then amplifies it. I think that's kind of why she went so evil as she did. And it's one of those ones, like, even though Vision was only mentioned once, like, for all we know in Earth 838, Vision is still alive. We just, even though we don't see him as, like, they do talk about defeating Thanos and that, but at that point, we don't know if Thanos succeeded in getting all the stones, and all that. We don't know much about what happened with Thanos in that universe, whether he did the whole snap and all that then as well. So yeah, but I mean, I agree that I would have loved to see put Vision in here, whether or not he was included in here, or he just wasn't available. He was doing something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It just felt weird because, I mean, for people who watch WandaVision, it's like that whole show was about Wanda and Vision. Like in the end, she said goodbye to Vision, and she really didn't really. It didn't look like she really cared about her kids after that.
You know, there were some heartfelt moments.
Yeah, heartfelt, but not enough for this movie to be all about her wrecking shop and killing everybody just to get her kids.
Yeah, I think WandaVision did a better job in focusing on her grief than this movie does.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I will disagree with you on the conclusion of her arc in this movie. I actually think the scene where she scares her kids and that's what wakes her out of this, I actually thought that was a very effective moment.
Yeah, there's, like, the way I see that moment is, I think we're seeing the kids scared of what she's become, and things like, oh shit, what am I doing? Yeah, I mean, once again, this is like, I think once again there probably need to be something added into that scene to make it more clearer. So I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, what about White Vision?" And all that. As far as I remember from WandaVision, White Vision's only got the memories. I don't think it's not truly Vision, as he's only got the memories, but whether or not that means that Wanda has to fall in love with this new Vision.
Right. Who is the father of these in the different universe? Who is the father of these kids? You know? That's what I'm wondering.
Well, that's the thing. Like, even though they were in rescue, we don't know if this is if she's still got this town hostage, or if it's a whole new sort of thing.
Okay. I mean, that's interesting.
Which makes you think, like, if they ever do a second series of WandaVision, have it set on Earth 838, is what it's going on.
Yeah.
But that being said, while we're on Earth 838, we got a lot of cameos. I know there's a lot of people out there. I can't remember who said it, but someone said that this is going to have the most cameo-filled movie ever. It's like, which led everyone to go have a high expectation of how many cameos they're going to expect. I mean, me and Stephen did a whole tier ranking thing, predicting who's going to show up.
Yeah, the only one that I was kind of disappointed we didn't get to see, and Campia did a story of how one of the writers said that they were thinking about it, but they didn't because of availability, since Tom Cruise is doing Mission Impossible 7 and 8, was the Tom Cruise's version of Iron Man. That would have been, I would have been thrilled to have seen that. So that's just
that would have been cool.
But yeah, so we saw John Krasinski as this Fantastic. We saw Patrick Stewart as Professor X. One that we didn't have on their big cards at all. Anson Mount came back as Black Bolt or Blackiger Boltic, as they called him this. And I mean, I know there's a lot of people that's like, who, but
Yeah,
he was,
I never
he was
watched
in
the
the
TV shows, so
series, but yeah. I mean, that was one I never thought was going back, because I know we were doing the whole queuing thing, like, with like the humans. Yeah, they're not going to go touch the humans with a 10-foot barge pole. We saw the live action Haley Atwell as Captain Carter, and then we saw Maria Rambeau as Captain Marvel, and then dreadlocked Mordo. David, what are your thoughts on these cameos?
To me, I don't know. I think the Illuminati did nothing to add to the story to me. To overall narrative, I think, of the story and the MCU. It was just, it felt like it was just there to like, hey, these are just, cameos to me, because and then after like they died really quickly, it's kind of like, yeah, what were they there for? I mean, I don't know. It was cool to see Josh Krasinski, as I know he was a favorite. Honestly, he looked a lot better in the fan art than what he looked like in the movie. The suit wasn't that great to me. I don't know. It was okay. It was. I mean, I liked. I tell what they were going for with the quick deaths and like showing how powerful Wanda is, but I just think the execution wasn't that great. It's just like, oh, this is the smartest man in the world. Hey, this telling Wanda what Black Bolt's like superpower is. It's like, okay, it's like we already saw what it like. Why do we need to be told that? But yeah, I mean, that I don't have much to say about it. It's just like it was there. It was cool. It was cool. Definitely cool to see Professor X in the golden wheelchair, just like the animated series with the music cue and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like in the end, like it didn't really add anything to the overall narrative. I think it was just there to be shock value.
Yeah.
For me.
But we've also got Manning here joining us. Manning, what is your thoughts on Wanda's arc in the movie and then the cameos?
Well, hello, David. Hello, Stephen. Pleasure. First time met you guys. I'm Manning. Hello, audience. Good to see you all again. I've taken a brief hiatus because there's a lot of work. And thank you for having me on, Malcolm. I didn't like it. I did not care for it. I'm a huge fan of WandaVision. And while I think most people will tell you and will attest to the fact that, oh, they're leaning her into a villainous role, or at least some sort of like anti-hero arc or something. At the end of WandaVision, they give some moral questions that are presented to you, the audience, about why she does what she does. And I think that it was really interesting how they did that, because there was some nuance and there was actually some depth to it. I feel like for this one, she was a very one-note villain about, I'm here because I want my kids. And that's everything. And that's all that I'm putting, all the stock that I'm putting into that. There was no conflict within her. There was nothing like an aside where I got to really explore her as the character. It's like she, in this movie, had utterly no character development. She had that one scene at the end, and then that is it. And like the one time she was conflicted was when, and this is spoilers, obviously, when Charles Xavier came over to her and saw her trapped. And then we got no other information of her being trapped besides that. And I needed more. And it was a big disappointment because I wanted a lot more. I wanted a conflicted villain, not a homicidal, power hungry, hell-bent mother. But because she's not a monster, she's a mother. Like, no.
She's the female version of Liam Neeson. She's got a special set of skills, but she just wants to get her kids back.
Yes, literally. She is taken. She will take them. She's going to take them. They will be taken anyway.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think this is the last we see of Wanda, because I don't think she's dead. Like, we saw no bodies.
Yes.
Because, I mean, well, I know a lot of people have pointed out that you do see a red flash after the rocks finish falling and that. So I think I don't think this is the end. I do think this is the end of her sort of villain arc. Because I think when she comes back, she'll probably try and make amends for what she did in whatever capacity.
I mean, she destroyed the Darkhold, so
yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, my thoughts on the cameos, like I agree with what David said. Like they were pretty much there to just to show how powerful Wanda is. But after seeing John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, I don't know if I liked him as Mr. Fantastic. Look, whether or not this is going to be the Mr. Fantastic we get going forward, because I think the writer of this has said don't expect John Krasinski to be here for a long term. Because they have to find a new director, but maybe that's how they got John Krasinski, and he was like, look, we'll get you a cameo of Mr. Fantastic, please all the fans, and you can direct Fantastic Four. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed seeing Black Bolt in the comic accurate outfit and all that. Captain Carter in live action was just hot. Look, I hope they find more ways to have Eddie Atwell as the live action Captain Carter, and we'll get to the end post credit scene a little bit later. But yeah, and yeah, I enjoyed seeing the other cameo. Professor X is like the comic accurate is good. This is one that I don't think will go on.
How many times does Professor X have to die in a Patrick Stewart's Professor X have to die in this franchise?
You know what?
Oh wow!
I'm not saying that Logan is not as. I'm not saying that this is better than Logan. It's definitely not. But I will say I liked his death in this better than in Logan.
It definitely was a lot more. Shall we say? More prolonged in comparison to the for spoilers. Can I spoil Logan? Oh, we kind of spoiled it already because
I mean,
but
I've got a spoilers banner down there anyway. So
yeah, you're true. But yeah, it was very quick, and this one there was like some at least kind of he went out fighting in a weird way, even though she kind of really demolished everyone, kind of.
Yeah.
I like the Professor X. I saw like the vibration, whatever power thing he does in a cartoon. That was awesome.
Yeah. No, it's one of those ones. And I know a lot of people saying it's like, oh, this should be rated R specifically because of Black Bolt's death. Which like, I mean, I would have argued that Captain Carter's death was probably closer to.
Oof. I mean, I will say this: while this is not deserving of an R rating by any stretch of the imagination, I never thought I would see a death like that in an MCU film. I will say I will give it credit for that.
Yeah, I'll say Sam Raimi really pushed the limits in this, and I like that a lot for MCU movie.
Yeah. And I mean, not that I'm surprised that they had Haley say the line. I really enjoyed her saying the line. Then in Wanda's comeback, like, how about half?
And 2 seconds later, boom, she's sliced.
Your day was cut short.
So covered. Stephen, I mean, I don't know if you've got much more to add, but what were your thoughts on the cameos?
I mean, I enjoyed Chiwetel Ejiofor's. I think I like the back and forth between him and Strange. Other than him, seeing Patrick Stewart was cool. We don't see enough of John Krasinski for me to have any kind of real opinion of him as Mr. Fantastic. To be honest, I actually thought most of the Illuminati scene almost came off as almost like a parody of the MCU. And I didn't mention this before, but one thing I forgot for Wanda, they made her too powerful, and the way she kills them like nothing, to me just felt didn't feel right, but I did like the way Peggy is killed. That was a cool little shot.
May I quickly add something, Malcolm?
Yep.
What I was going to add is that I found it, Stephen, I completely agree with you. What an incredibly apt name for this, may I say, for this review. But yeah, it was it felt so incredibly contained, and at the end of the day, it was really only there to show the power of Wanda. And at the end of the day, we saw that already. We saw that with the way she kind of really disposed of the entire. Oh, what's the castle called? Help me out. You guys remember what it was called? The fortress. That Wong, he's in charge of.
Camotage.
Camotage, thank you. Yes. The way she dispatched everyone from there and showed her power through that. I don't think we needed these cameos. I mean, I feel like for a 2-hour movie, I felt like we could have used more, and we could have taken that out and explored, I don't know, the character depth of Strange or Wanda, it was cool. And I will admit, I cheered when I saw Xavier, even though the trailers kind of ruined that. We all knew it was going to happen. I do agree. I think that it kind of came off as a parody only because they were dispatched so quickly. And I never like it when they bring someone in just for the sake that it's really powerful, as just to show the power of someone else. And it's like, I get it, but I feel like we've seen that before. And especially when we have a connection of someone like Charles Xavier, it feels kind of, what's the word? It feels very, forced is the wrong word. It feels very kind of, there's a word I'm thinking, like almost unearned in a way.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those, because I think Wanda is supposed to be the most powerful being in the Marvel comics. So,
one of the,
so I think they did a good job of actually showing that power in this than what they done with her in other iterations. But now time to switch around to the title character. What do we think of Doctor Strange? All from America, and they were their storyline pretty much tied together as well. Manning or Safia, what did you think of sort of Doctor Strange and America Ferrera's arc in this?
You mean America Chavez?
Not Ferrera. Ferrera's a different.
America Ferrera is a good actress.
Superstore, yeah, she's a good actress. Anyway.
Yeah, I knew her a bit.
I know who you meant. America Chavez is, I'm going to say this as nicely as possible, a MacGuffin. She is literally just there to move the plot along, and she has one nice scene about wishes she could see her parents again. Nice. That's about it. And on the flip side, though, Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, really good as Doctor Strange. I wish he had more to do. His best scenes are surprisingly when he is with, well, I guess not surprisingly, is when he is with Rachel McAdams as Christine in this. He gets to really explore some really tender moments because he's never got that in his main. He's always like the guy who knows what's up. But this one, you got to see some vulnerability, and I appreciated that. But I also loved him basically facing himself. That is always a great thing. And when he gets to kind of go ham as the alternate reality Doctor Strange, do we know what universe that is for Strange? Did they say that in What If? What number that was?
I don't think they ever say what number that was. I don't think that's the same.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I mean. People, I think everyone's assuming it, but whether or not it's the same, there could be a different alt universe in which that What If story plays out similar but different. Because I think in the What If episode they don't. It's not the Darkhold that Steven goes for when he gets.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I was thinking it may have happened afterward, but regardless, I still think that this is really good. He did some solid work. I think the MVP acting wise, even if I don't like her story, is Elizabeth Olsen. But I think Benedict Cumberbatch as Stephen Strange is, I think, a really does some really good work, and I'm happy he's probably gonna get another movie to explore some really. I want to get some really good meat of Doctor Strange because I don't think we got that. I wanted more meat. Yeah. We didn't get that.
But Stephen, what did you think of Doctor Strange and America Ferrers and America Chavez?
You did it again.
There's only two Americas that we know.
Only two.
Yeah, I called America Chavez's character pretty much just a plot device. She's not developed at all, which is a shame because she has some potentially interesting stuff because apparently, at least according to her, she's the only America Chavez in all of the universes. Because apparently she doesn't dream. That's another thing, by the way, I forgot to mention before is this whole idea that we never know what dreams are in actuality. And so I really liked the idea that our dreams are actually kind of like a window into alternate universes.
Yeah, wish they explored that more.
Yeah. And so, yeah, they really didn't do that character justice because I think she has a lot of potential. Hopefully in future movies, they will do that better. I think Benedict Cumberbatch, he's very solid in the movie. He's got some nice moments, not just with Rachel McAdams, but also with BD Wong. I always enjoyed the chemistry between those two.
Also, I think it's Benedict Wong, not BD Wong. But
Yeah. Okay, we all have our moments now.
BD Wong, I think there is an actor named.
There's an actor.
Jurassic
World. And,
you just picked the wrong Wong.
oh my God.
Wrong.
But anyway,
I'm not trying
but yeah,
I can share my thoughts about.
America.
I mean, I agree with both these guys that America Chavez is very convenient to the plot. It was very interesting. It was very weird to me that because I thought what Doctor Strange did in No Way Home, the last movie, would relate more to the multiverse plot in this movie, and it really had nothing to do with it. Like it was kind of like all of a sudden there is a girl who can cross multiverses, like pop out all of a sudden, and there you go. That's the plot. That was kind of interesting to me. And then it's like she keeps saying that like she can't control like the jump and everything else, but she said she went to like 72 or over 70 like multiverses already. Like, how do you keep doing this? Okay, you still can't control it, but yeah, I guess. But seriously, but her Xochitl Gomez, I think that's the name of the actor.
Yeah,
she was fine. I mean, I could tell it was like her first movie, really. I feel like you can see a little bit, but throughout the movie, she got a little bit better in the acting thing. Benedict Cumberbatch, as always, he's a perfect fit for this character. I have no complaints about his performance. For Doctor Strange 2, maybe they could. There's some development with him, but maybe a little bit more his movie. Actually, I guess for this one. But yeah, I mean those are my thoughts for those two characters.
Have you guys read the synopsis, the official synopsis? You guys remember that? What they said?
No. What was it?
May I read it, Malcolm? Or unless you have it up already.
No, you can read it.
Dr. Stephen Strange cast a forbidden spell that opens a portal to the multiverse. However, a threat emerges that may be too big for his team to handle. That is not the story, and he does not do any magic whatsoever. So I agree, David. I thought he was going to. I thought what he did in the last No Way Home was going to. The synopsis said so, and I guess we can't agree. We can't believe that anymore, obviously.
Yeah. Also, nothing. What happened at the end of Loki seemed to have anything to do with this movie either.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I think they kind of hinted that. Loki was going to maybe have some aspect on it, but then I think maybe something changed in between there. Because I know that he's explicitly said that WandaVision is going to directly link to Doctor Strange 2. I think Loki is more leading to the Ant-Man sequel that's coming up.
Mm.
So I think that's kind of where some people's wires were crossed about Loki being involved with this too. Because I but anyway, look, I did like America Chavez in this. Because I think she was great. I agree with what everyone said that she was more of a plot device. But that being said, I really want to see a Disney Plus show about this character now because and showing sort of how she got to where she was at the start of this movie. Because I know we got a hint of what happened when with those convenient memory things.
Oh, that was such a weird scene too. Like they had no money. How are they?
Yeah.
How is that working for them? They kept saying discount. They didn't really pay me things. Such a weird. I don't know. It's such a weird too.
I mean, they apparently stole from Pizza Papa, so they can definitely steal from
I guess.
apparently this memory thing.
Good old,
Such
good
a
old
convenient way too. Like,
but
sorry.
I really did love Doctor Strange. Benedict Cumberbatch in this. I know it's probably not going to happen. But I would like to see Benedict Cumberbatch nominated for an Oscar for this, and maybe Elizabeth Olsen for Wonders. I think, yeah. I don't think it's going to happen. Definitely don't, because there's a lot of stuff still to come out. But I do think. Well, I mean, it's one of those. I think they do give Oscar-worthy performances, but I don't think it's going to happen. But leading into that, because Jonathan does actually mention it here, is they really did a good job of blending the score and
like that.
because that fight scene with Doctor Strange versus Doctor Strange and just using your musical notes was just perfectly executed. And honestly, I really loved Danny Elfman's score for this movie as a whole, because it's one of those ones like if you tell me Danny Elfman was taking over from Michael Giacchino, who did the score in the first one, it's like I probably would have thought that's a really odd choice, but it's just one that just really worked. I think Danny Elfman is one of those ones, especially when it comes to that musical battle. I think he's is a good job of using the score to blend into the actual action of stuff as well. And I mean, look, I do like. I think Doctor Strange was really good looking. It's just, it's one of those ones that took me out of the movie. It's like that's definitely a version of Zombie Ash that Sam Raimi is just throwing in here. But Stephen, what are your thoughts on the score? And
I gotta be honest, I don't really remember the score. The score has to be either really good or really bad for it to stick out to me. And I'm sure, I do like Danny Elfman, so I'm sure I would enjoy the score if I listened back to it, but I don't really remember it.
David, what are your thoughts on the score?
Because I read about like the score being really good before I saw the movie, and I tried to hear like certain parts of it, and I couldn't really, like Steven said, I couldn't really remember a certain theme that was in there, or like, I can't remember much about it, but I just know it was good atmospheric music. Good, there's some good music cues for the scenes I was in. I'll say that it wasn't bad.
And Manning, what was your thoughts on the score?
This is becoming a panel of I agree because I agree. It's not bad. I don't think it's great. I think it's good, but I needed to listen to it again. But I think we can all agree, at least I'd like to hope so, that musical battle was just an excellent, very creative way to go about kind of using their powers in a way that's kind of ridiculous, but in a way that makes sense in a very comic booky type of way. Did we talk about Sam Raimi already in his direction at all?
Not much yet.
I was actually getting into that.
I'll save it.
Well, I mean, you can start because what do you think of Sam Raimi's?
Oh, the best part of the movie. By far the best part of the movie. And I think most people, well, actually, let me take that back. I think most people who know Sam Raimi, or at least have seen, I mean, well, if you've seen the original Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire, of course you kind of know what he does. The way that he moves his camera movements are so dynamic and just so visually interesting. His choices, honestly, and some of the kind of horror-esque elements, like even something so small as Wanda coming out of like a really bright orange or yellow, I can't remember, mist that was practical, that I can see those are pillars that are there. They do not look like a green screen to me. The mist could have been a green screen, but I couldn't tell. It looked real enough for me to be like, wow, this looks, the way he's framing this, the way he's, the Ultron bot that she's crushing, all these small little things, the running away of escaping from kind of this weird zombie. She went through a mirror like The Ring. Seriously, like I didn't expect something along this lines. I mean, okay, I did expect, because it is in fact Sam Raimi. We have an idea of what to expect from him. But to see this implemented in a Marvel film, even one I didn't like really, I think this was probably one of the strongest direction from a Marvel movie. Even if the script wasn't up to par with the direction, I feel like from like half the movie, he had a clear handle, and the other half you can tell kind of was more of a studio mandate. But when he shone to the heavens, because it was so fun and interesting that I might go see. I rarely get to see movies twice just because I'm so busy, but I might see it again just because I adored his work behind the camera so much. And come on, you have to know that Zombie Strange was absolutely an idea from Sam Raimi. Like, come on. That was Scott Derrickson. I'm sure he had a great idea, but that, I'm going to bet my bottom dollar that was Sam Raimi. And it was very gruesomely gory, and, or not gory, but it was gruesome in a very Sam Raimi kind of comical way. And I was here for it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see sort of what Scott Derrickson's version of this would have been, because I don't think it, because from what I've heard is he left for the dreaded creative differences. So his version of Doctor Strange wasn't going to be a multiversal story in the first place, but because that's where this phase was going. He didn't like that idea. So
makes sense.
So yeah. But that being said, I really did like the direction of Sam Raimi. Is like, it's definitely, and this is one of those ones, like, I don't think there was much studio interference in this one because, as I said, like at the start, like with this phase, I think this is the one where he's just letting the directors sort of do what they want, because they don't have a big overarching story leading to a Avengers team up movie down the line
that we know of.
Well, that we know of yet, because I know there's hints for Young Avengers and all that, and there's definitely like people like America, Ms. Marvel. Well, yeah, I mean, I think eventually it is going to lead to, but yeah, this is one of those ones, like, at the moment there's nothing it's concretely confirmed to coming up, so I think it's one of those ones like Kevin Feige just doesn't mind them doing their own stuff a little bit more. There's definitely all these Sam Raimi trademarks in this too, like the Bruce Campbell cameo was great. Especially him having the last line in the post credit scenes, like, it's over, it's finally over.
That was like a homage to his Evil Dead, his Army of Darkness.
Yes.
Most
with the hand,
definitely.
I think. Yeah.
I mean, personally, I would have just loved seeing Bruce Campbell pop up as Mysterio, and for some reason, part of the Illuminati. Yeah, and for some reason, part of the Illuminati. But and the other one is the trademark car that he always slips in his movies is it's, if you look closely it's in the Strange Supreme universe. It's floating around by the Doctor Strange's house somewhere. But yeah, I was watching Cinefanatics, and they put that they were the ones that
wow.
mentioned that it was actually there. And Jonathan does actually say that maybe Scott's wanted more psychological horror instead. So, but Stephen, what are your thoughts on Sam Raimi's direction?
I like Sam Raimi. I love most of his movies. Except I know this is a big hot take, but I've never shared people's affinity for the Evil Dead movies. But I did love Bruce Campbell's cameo, and he's in 2 scenes, and his the post-credit scene. I know we haven't delved into it. I think is a lot better than the mid-credit scene.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And it's funny because apparently there are a lot of people that were angry with the post-credit scene because they waited for all the credits for what amounts to really just a funny gag.
oh yeah.
But I think they did the same thing in Iron Man 3, and I thought that was a funny scene too. Actually,
What was that one again?
It was the scene with Tony and
Bruce?
Yeah.
Just at the doctor's office, they're like, it's like, yeah, the therapist thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even Spider-Man: Homecoming had the Captain America. Let's
Patience.
go home. Yeah.
Patience.
So.
Yeah, I actually probably my favorite Sam Raimi movie is Darkman, and there's some of that in this too, sort of, at least in terms of tone. The zombie, the zombie Doctor Strange thing. I don't know. Maybe if I see it again, I'll like it more. But it just felt kind of odd and didn't seem to mesh as well with the overall tone and feel of the movie. So some of the stuff in the third act got kind of silly. But I don't know. Maybe watching it a second time, I'll like it more.
Yeah. And David, what are your thoughts on Sam Raimi's direction?
Oh yeah, I mean, I love Sam Raimi movies. The second half of this movie was full on Raimi, which loved. When Zombie Strange was my favorite part. When he said like, "Who said anything about does that to be alive or whatever?" And then you zoom in on his eyes, of the zombie eyes, and wakes up, and oh my god, that's like classic Raimi.
It's classic, love it.
Oh man, I love that part. But yeah, I mean, I don't like his direction was pretty solid. I think overall, it was just the movie's fault was with the script, for sure, more than the direction. But yeah, I liked his class. I mean, he was pretty toned down actually in the first half. Like, I couldn't tell it was Sam Raimi's direction that much. And then the second.
So that mirror scene in the in the when he's in the is a really really cool visual.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the second half was like pretty full on kick to the 11, like Sam Raimi. So I enjoyed it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think because I think that's kind of where the studio notes sort of come into it. Because I think like Ken was like, well, I mean, I don't mind all that stuff at the end. I think that we need all this stuff at the start. I mean, look, if I do have a negative in this, because like my final like rating on this is 4 out of 5. Is the script is probably definitely a weak. I think that definitely needed toned. I don't know because I know Michael Waldron wrote Loki, but I don't know if he's ever written a film script before. So that this might have been his first foray into film writing, because I think writing for TV, writing for film is 2 different things. But that being said, last part we need to talk about is where Doctor Strange goes from here, and that's leading into the other post-credit scene we haven't talked about, and that's the reveal of Charlize Theron as Claire, who in the comics does become Doctor Strange's wife. But David, what are your thoughts on where do you think Doctor Strange 3 will be going? And your thoughts on Charlize and Claire?
Well, I don't know much about. I actually honestly don't know much about the character to say where he's going to go next, but probably explore. Well, I'm sure the next one's going to explore more the multiverse again, and then tone it, and then like stop at some place, and then focus on a main like antagonist or story. Um, yeah, I did not like that post credit scene at all. It was just after that ending, which was kind of cool to see the third eye pop up and it ended. That was awesome. It's like, okay, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna wait till the next movie to see it, and then you see what happens next, and it's like, I'm cool with it. Have an eye, and then Charlize Theron comes out of nowhere, like, hey, I'm Charlize Theron, and she wears this really like TV looking costume. I did not think that was good at all. Like her makeup too was just, hey, let's go on this thing. Like, okay, I just didn't like that at all. But yeah, interesting to see. I didn't know that was supposed to be Doctor Strange's new love interest. So, I mean, it's cool to see Charlize Theron in the MCU now. But I hope she has a better like look in the next movie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't realize there was Charlize until the actual credits started rolling, and I saw in the things like Charlize Theron, Claire's. Oh, that's who that was. Because at first glance, I thought it was Angelina Jolie as Fina from the Eternals.
That would change some things.
Well, that's interesting.
It's like I was confused. Like, why is she there? But anyway, Betty, what are your thoughts on where Doctor Strange 3 might go, and your thoughts on Charlie's as Claire?
This is interesting because this is the first movie that I've ever felt from the MCU, at least in Phase 4, where I'm kind of like, do you guys know what you're doing? Because this felt so fractured from what we've seen from the multiverse so far. And we've had 3 other properties that have like 3? Wait. What If, Loki, and yes, no way home.
Yeah.
And I feel like in some way it basically ignores Loki, because I feel like the idea of being I feel like the timekeepers, the TSA,
time variance,
TSA.
TWA, is that what it is?
It got to get out over here now suddenly. All right. Anyway, the TVA, I feel like that was completely like they've set up something's massive in them, and it's like not even mentioned. This feels so like you can tell they're juggling a lot of balls right now, and obviously they might be planning to something. I'm not denying Kevin Feige doesn't have a plan, but right now I think they're using Doctor Strange to not lift up the character of Doctor Strange. They're doing it to lift over to their next event, and you can tell that with how they did their mid-credit scene, where it's like, there's an incursion coming. Follow me. And like I'm hoping they do Hickman's run of New Avengers into like Infinity and then into Secret Wars. Like I'm genuinely excited if they do that. But I want to make sure we get there in a way that doesn't feel like they're just getting here to get there. Because I don't know if the last few phases felt like 1, 2, and 3 felt so meticulously planned that going into this one, I'm now kind of scared. I'm trusting them because they've done a good job so far, but I just don't see where this is going yet. It's multiverse related, I know, but I'm just not sure how they're dealing with the multiverse because it's not working for me so far because it's felt so disjointed. And I'm not sure which one I like. I've liked the TVA the most, how they did that, and I wish they could lean that into the films a little bit more. But using America Chavez as just the conduit, which made her again a plot device, it just felt so necessary. Exposition, too much of exposition. And I don't know, I'm rambling at this point, but I just kind of hope that there's an overarching plan and that Doctor Strange actually has some time to grow as a character a lot more in his own movie, because this felt like, while a Doctor Strange movie, you could have had this a 2-hour 30-minute movie easily, because I felt like there was a lot on the cutting room floor that could have fleshed him out as a character more than just asking the question, am I happy?
Yeah. Honestly, if it was me, I probably would have switched the post-credit scene with the actual ending. Because when I was watching the Cinematics last night, they brought up a good point that it just seems so weird having at the end of Doctor Strange get the third eye, then at the post credits
He's
is like he's just walking down the street, it's like la, la,
Yeah,
la.
it's like, what?
Good point.
But yeah, I mean, I mean, for me, like, I'm kind of interested to see where this goes. And I mean, this is probably one of those ones I don't. This is definitely one of those ones that I don't think the COVID delays and stuff actually affected this too much, because I think Loki was all filmed and done before this. But I think it's one of those ones because I think everyone because I think this is one of those ones everyone went in with expectations of what they were looking for, and I think that's probably comes to where some of this disappointment is coming from, because I think everyone went into this thinking, oh yeah, Loki's going to lead into this somehow. What if is going to be more heavily linked into this? But then everyone went. I mean, it didn't help that someone said, someone on the press tour said, "Oh, yeah, this is going to be the most cameo-filled movie ever." It's like, just.
That's the thing. I did not like how Marvel kind of like promoted this movie too. It's like, hey, there's a little tease of some cameos coming, and that's why they made so much money. That's why a lot of people went to this movie just to see these cameos. And in the end, they kind of got like tricked.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I mean, there's a couple cool cameos, but it's just like
It's
in
a
the
series
end-
of scenes.
Yeah, in the
That's
end, it was just like I'm here, and then boom. It's like
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like like for a movie called Multiverse of Madness, I wish we got more
there wasn't much.
multiverse. Yeah. But like my fear for where Doctor Strange 3 will go is more I think the incursion that they're going back to fix is the death of the Illuminati in 838. I think that is one of the things they're going to fix, because that is one thing that wasn't supposed to happen, that was unreally caused. But I think that's probably something they're going to go back and fix.
I hope.
But other than that, I don't know where this is going to go. I'm excited to see where this is going to go. And I really enjoyed seeing Charlize Theron as Claire. I think she's good. And I think the costume will be updated, for sure. And yeah, Stephen, what are your thoughts on where Doctor Strange 3 is probably going to go?
So they said an incursion is what? When someone from a different universe goes into another universe, and what, both universes get destroyed or something?
Yeah. I forgot what causes an incursion, but the incursion event is when, you're right, when two planets and worlds kind of collide and they create what it is. But I forgot what they said. Yeah, I think that's right though.
Yeah. So
What? Yeah.
that's where I hope they're going, because I think that's a cool idea. I mean, I don't read comic books, so I'm not familiar with who Charlize Theron is playing. I like Charlize Theron a lot, so it's cool that she's now part of the MCU. My only issue with that scene is she's a complete stranger to Strange. She comes out of nowhere, and he just willingly just comes along, like, okay.
Okay.
Well, I mean, look, on that note, I think it's a case of like Doctor Strange is a hero's job, and like if someone says like we need your help to fix this thing, it will be a dick move to say, "Hell no, I'm having fun." Just I'm walking down the street, do nothing.
No, but maybe like demand some kind of proof that you are who you say you are.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Like, hold on,
one
what's up? What's going on?
But yeah,
Can I ask though? I don't know what the importance of the third eye is. What is the meaning behind that?
well, I think it's something to I'm not too sure. But I think it's something to do with just a lingering effect from using the Darkhold.
Okay.
But
Yeah, is he Strange going to become like a darker person now that since he's read from the Darkhold? I mean, because that sounds like it could be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think he'll become a more darker person because it's one of those ones like I don't think like when he read from that Darkhold, I think he wasn't fully corrupted by it, and I think it's just one of those things that he just has now. Whether or not it comes into play in the sequel or not, who knows?
Yeah.
I think I think they'll probably come into, but and like as I said at the start, I don't think Wanda's dead. I think we will see more of Wanda. It may not be anytime soon though. Because I think they'll just keep her. She'll just whatever she has gone to do or whatnot. I think she's probably going to stay hidden to process what happened and all that.
Yeah, so we talked about the Darkhold, but for most of the movie, they're trying to get this other book, and that just goes completely nowhere.
MacGuffin again.
Yeah, there was like that one just that definitely it's the book of Ashanti.
Ashanti or something like that. I saw a meme.
Oh yeah, they're looking for Ashanti's song lyrics. But anyway, but that does bring us to the end of this review because I think we've covered everything that we need to. Jonathan does ask us, do we think Sam Raimi will direct Doctor Strange 3? I think if there is a need for him, whether they need that look again, I think he will. But I'm not too sure where they're planning on Doctor Strange 3. As far as I know, there's not one greenlit at this stage. I probably will be now that it's made a lot of money. But yeah. Eddie, for anyone in final words?
Well, to answer the question, I will quickly say that I think that Marvel would love to have him back just because of the name that he is, not only to horror fans, but also to, I guess, comic books and superhero fans. They will absolutely ask him back. It all depends on if Sam Raimi is like, no, I'm good. Thanks, guys, for having me back. I can totally see him doing that. But he seemed excited in some interviews that he got to actually come back to do a superhero movie. So I don't know. We'll see. I'd love him, though, if he came back. More what he had.
It's been a while since I've actually directed a movie. I think. What was the last thing he did before this?
The Great and Powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
So there's been, it's been 9 years. So
what has he done in the meantime?
He's produced he produced the Ash vs. Evil Dead series. And
he didn't direct any episodes.
He directed like the first episode, I believe.
Oh, okay.
He produced Don't Breathe 2. He produced 2020's The Grudge.
He's producing stuff.
Yeah.
TV.
But that being said, there's not much more to say.
I do want to add about so Rachel McAdams. We didn't talk about her.
Yeah.
I liked her character a lot in this movie. Much a lot more than the first one. Yeah.
Yes.
I did think it's because we didn't, but since the first movie, Doctor Strange never really mentions Christine throughout any of the other stuff. So it's kind of weird to I thought about you my whole life. I love you my whole life, whatever. It's I didn't really buy that too much because it's okay. But I really liked her multiverse character in this movie. I wish she stayed around, but I guess now Charlize Theron's there.
Yeah. Who's in charge now of that other universe? They're all the most brilliant. Oh, nope. Mordo. He's the only one that lived. Never mind. I answered that question. I'm curious now what that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm more curious about the Mordo in his regular universe too.
Where's he?
Yeah, because he's been Doctor Strange said we have a lot of battles before together. We didn't see any of that, and
you have zero actually.
Yeah, he's supposed to be his arch rival, really, in the comics, I think.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Mordo has a lot more to do in Doctor Strange 3 if they get there. I like the fact they gave Christine a lot more to do in this. But that being said, this is the end of the review. Like there's a lot more we could talk about, but I've got somewhere to be in a few minutes.
And do you have a final rating for everybody of the movie?
Yep. Stephen, what was your final rating of Doctor Strange?
I mean, how are we rating?
Out of 5, out of 10, whatever you normally do, are comfortable doing the right things.
I mean, if I was going like on a 10 scale, I guess it would be a 5. It's it's disappointing. I thought it was overall mediocre, with some highlights. It's not a terrible movie by any means. But it is a lot of missed opportunity and just disappointing.
David, what was your final rating?
On Letterboxd, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 because I enjoyed the movie. I mean, even though it sounded like I was bashing it the whole time, I did enjoy it. But if in reality, I would probably give like a 3.2 out of 5, because I would like to rate it like that too. Yeah. Yeah, it was all right.
Manning, what was your final rating?
Well, I think Sam Raimi injected some lifeblood into this. He can't polish an already cracking glass under the weight of all that this movie's trying to carry. And it's like, I had to give this like a 3 out of 5. I might go to 2.5 out of 5 ultimately, just because this is such a disappointment, because I was so looking forward to this film, and I have not been more disappointed in a Marvel film since I don't know how long. So I mean, yeah.
Spider-Man, Far From Home.
Oh, that was a disappointment too. That was a big one. Ooh, maybe that one probably. Oh, Captain Marvel's a good one. Ooh, yeah. Let's just name them out.
Yeah, I kind of liked Captain Marvel.
I'm a big Captain Marvel fan. Did not care for that one. Ooh, so sad.
But yeah, for me, I gave it a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Like, there's definitely some issues. It may go up on a rewatch. It may go down on a rewatch. But at the moment, like 4 out of 5 is probably a good place for me at this stage. I mean, I'm one of those ones, like, when it comes to MCU, there's not actually one I think is terrible. Like, a lot of the MCU is either, my lowest is 3 stars, and I'm one of those ones when it comes to movies. I try to I always go in with low expectations. I don't want to go into anything with high expectations. Which is why it saddens me that there's a lot of hype for Top Gun Maverick now. Now I feel like I'm going to be disappointed by that. But that being said, but yeah, watch everything on Take 3. Watch stuff that these other people are doing. I've got to be out of here, otherwise I'll do normal park lugs anyway. But yeah, and until next time.
Thank you.
And thanks to you, that's over now, and you've ruined that for me.